What's happening, party people? This is your daily motivational morning message. It is Thriving Thursday. And motivation is a lot like taking a bath or brushing your teeth, your personal hygiene. You want to do it consistently. Why? Because things build up over time. You may eat really healthy, you may not have any sugar at all, and you drink lots of water and things of that nature. Regardless, things are still going to build up because there are free radicals, there are pollutants in the air, there's toxins, there's things that we're subject to that are beyond our control. You might bathe and you may not do anything that is extraneous. You may not break a sweat. But even if you're just sitting and sedentary for 2, 3 days, there's still going to be a buildup. And if you don't wash, then that buildup is going to start to reek. And so that is a natural process that we have to shed our skin, if you will. When you are exfoliating by putting the soap and rubbing it over your body with your sponge or your hands or your washcloth, and then you continue to do that, you feel refreshed and renewed. And motivation's a lot like that. It's not a panacea. It's not the end all be all. One message is not going to last you for the rest of your life. It doesn't work that way. It's something that you want to engage in each and every day. So we have this morning motivational message for you as part of your anchoring for the day, as part of your guidepost, and you can come back to it whenever you want. Because today, this morning, we're going to talk about the power of integrity. Now, integrity may be defined in some circles as someone who is honorable, someone that stands with strong moral values and principles. Consistency is another word that is aligned with the definition of integrity. So it's basically doing what you say and saying what you do, and doing so from a place of strong moral character and ethics, a strongly, clearly defined value system with principles. In other words, if I'm living my life in such a way that if it were on a ginormous screen for all the world to see, there's no point throughout any given day that I'm doing or saying anything that I would be ashamed of or embarrassed by. And that's a very high standard of accountability that most people would never dare to aspire to, because we all have stuff. We all have secrets, and we all have things that we would like to be better at. And some of us are just doing dirt and don't want nobody to know. This is not something that you can compartmentalize, ladies and gentlemen. You want to understand the holistic process of integrity and how you want it to interwove and weave throughout the course of your life and every facet of your life. And if you do this correctly, you will find that you are going to be 10 times more effective, efficient, and the impact that you can create and what you can manifest will absolutely blow your mind. What do we often see? We will see individuals that ascend to a certain level of success or power or influence, and they're very good in that one area of their life. They're very successful in the entertainment world, or they're very successful in the business world, or they're very successful in politics or successful in sport. And then the other part of their life is a complete hot mess. They're on their third marriage. They continue with infidelities. They're taking money under the table as bribes. They're doing all kinds of things to cut corners in order to satisfy some need of the ego. And the ego is up here, but the integrity is down here. So when we talk about integrity today, I want to encourage you to really look at the holistic process of your life. And do you have integrity in every facet of your life, internally and externally? Internally is, do you keep your word to yourself? When you make a commitment, do you then keep your commitment to your commitment regardless of what anyone else is saying? So for example, if you say, I am going for this promotion, I am going for this rank, I am going for this next position, whether it be your career, a job, or your business, and you're burning the candle at both ends, and you're pushing and you're pushing and you're pushing, and this is because of a promise you made to yourself. But you have people that might love you that are close to you, and they see that you're dragging. They see that you're low on energy. They see that you're exhausted. And they want to put their arms around you and tell you to take a break. They want to put their arms around you and tell you to take the day off. They want to put their arms around you and say, hey, listen, is it really worth it? And they're coming from a good place, but that has nothing to do with the word that you gave to yourself. And you cannot be swayed or influenced by that outside conversation, even though it's well intentioned. Do you keep your commitment to your commitment? When you say you're going to get up earlier and then you hit the snooze button because nobody knows and nobody's watching, and now there's no consequence for you not keeping your word. That's not going to cut it. If you know yourself well enough to know that you're going to hit the snooze button, then you have to put things in place to parry that, to counter that. It's okay to acknowledge some of the built-in flaws and weaknesses in your character. Otherwise, you wouldn't be striving for something more in the first place. We all have it, but it doesn't mean you can't overcome it. So if you know you're not a morning person, if you know you're going to be likely to hit that snooze button, then you get yourself 3 phones and you put one over across the room, you put another one down the hall, you put another one somewhere else, so that even if you start to fall and slip, there's another thing that hits you and another. So it takes you 3 smacks upside the head to get your behind up. So be it. You do whatever it takes, because your word to yourself is that valuable to you. It's that meaningful to you. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're on to something. External integrity. When you tell someone you're going to do something, do you do it? Come hell or high water. And I don't care if it's something that you deem as small, medium, large. It doesn't matter the size of it. It matters that you do what you say and say what you do, because the more you do what you say, the more what you say comes true. So if I tell you I'm calling you back in 15 to 20 minutes, and I don't call you back until the next day, that's a problem. You just took a withdrawal from your integrity bank. And now your integrity balance with that person has gone down. And every time you do a little thing where you don't follow through and you don't do what you say, your integrity balance continues to go down. And now that person on more than one level starts to question, man, if this person lies to me about that, well, what else are they lying to me about? And it's not a vocal thing. It's subconscious. It's very, very subtle. But you want to build up your integrity bank. You don't want to take withdrawals from it. And if you're not going to do something, or if you've overcommitted, you've written a check with your mouth that your behind can't cash, then have the integrity and the character to reach out and say, hey, you know what? I apologize. I overcommitted. And I would like to ask your permission if you would release me from what I said I was going to do, because I can't do it. That's the best thing that you can do. Just own it. Because then that person's going to say, wow, took a lot of character, took a lot of courage to come to me and say, you overpromised. And I appreciate you being honest. I'm disappointed, but at least I know you're being straight with me. That's a deposit. Even though you're taking a loss, it's a deposit in your integrity bank balance. Your word, it's such a powerful thing. And so many times, and I've been guilty of it too. I'm talking to me as much as I'm talking to you. I thought I could compartmentalize. I thought, hey, I'm really good over here, but I'm horrible in relationship. But it's okay because I'm really good over here. And I'll figure this part out later. I tried to compartmentalize my integrity. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work. And the problem is, there are individuals that are held as quote unquote role models. And some of that stuff gets normalized. It gets normalized on television. It gets normalized in movies. You know, the rich, powerful person, whether it's a man or a woman, because you're rich and you're powerful, you can do whatever the hell you want. I'll never forget, I was doing a play and we were backstage hanging out in between shows. And this incredibly famous person was there hanging out with us. And he was talking to one of my boys and he was like, yeah. And if I'd said any of these names, you all would know who I'm talking about. And this incredibly famous person said, hey, you know, so-and-so, another famous person, he was like, so-and-so was, you know, talking to me. And he was like, man, my mistress is giving me a hard time. And my boy was like, what? Wait a minute, what? He was like, that person has a mistress? And the other famous person looked at my boy and was like, everybody's got a mistress. What are you talking about? It was normal in that world of highly successful, rich, powerful people. And I'll never forget that conversation. And I was like, damn, like these cats, like this just normal. It's just what you do. And so we have to be mindful that it should not have an impact, and it won't if you take the time to really build and develop and cultivate your character. And conversations like this, taking a daily motivational message like this and really internalizing it and giving yourself the opportunity to review for yourself. It's between you and you. You know if you're being 100 with your word. Now, you're never going to have a perfect score. You're never going to have a gazillion dollars in your integrity bank balance. But you want to be in the upper 90, you want to be in the top 2%. Let me put it like that. You want to be in the top 2% with your word. You're not going to be able to keep your word 100% of the time. Okay. It's not going to happen. So for example, if someone, comes to you that you love and care about, and they say, hey, how do I look in this outfit? Well, that's not the time for you to be like 100% of your, I mean, you need to lose some weight. Like, no, like, hey, you know what? You're glowing. You're glowing. I see you in your full shine. And internally, you're like, I know you're working hard. I know you're not where you want to be yet. Uh, might be a better outfit, but hey, if it makes you feel good, and boom. Okay, that's it's an example where I'm not being in 100% integrity, but I'm not doing it maliciously or for my own self gain. I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to give somebody a positive boost. Hey, how do you think I did on this? Well, I think it sucks. Well, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say I appreciate what you did in terms of your effort. Here's where I would make some improvements. So you're never going to be 100%. Okay. I can't do every single thing. I understand that. But you know what it does? It makes me careful with my words. So if someone asks me something and I'm not sure if I can do it or not, I'll just say, look, let me get back to you. Let me process what you're asking, and then I'll come back to you honestly and tell you what I can and can't do. So you know what? I can't do that, but here's what I can do. And if that's something is better than nothing. And if that doesn't satisfy you, if that doesn't satisfy you, that's not my problem. Okay. So it really empowers you to be aligned with your words. It empowers you to be aligned with your words. And now your words carry more weight. You want to be and living your life in a space where if you tell someone something, to them, it's gold. They never have to think about it again. They know that if you said it, it's going to get done. They know that you're a person who delivers because I deliver, because I come through. And now your words have more weight because you gave them more weight by first and foremost keeping your word to yourself, keeping your word to others, and never ever allowing someone else's paradigm to influence yours. I don't care who it is. I don't care how much money somebody has or how great you think they are. You have to protect your house of integrity and character and doing the right thing. And you have to protect your own house and your character and your morals and doing the right thing. You cannot allow anything or any outside influence to infect that with their lower standards. I don't care who it is. And if you walk that walk and you continuously aspire to be a man, to be a woman of the utmost integrity, then I promise you the words that you speak, the commitments that you make, the dreams and the goals that you aspire to have a higher probability of coming to fruition because the universe, the world, your creator knows that what you say is what you do and what you do is what you say. And do not compartmentalize it. Be holistically in integrity in everything that you do. And if you live your life as if It's on a ginormous screen for all the world to see. There's no point in you living that life that you're doing anything that you would ever be embarrassed or ashamed of. And I'm coming to you and I'm sharing this message as someone that didn't always live that way. I'm coming to you as one of those individuals that fell into the trap of quote unquote success and ego and entitlement and all of those traps where people won't even call you out on your stuff because they think, not me, they think you're beyond reproach. I've been in environments, I've been on movie sets, I've been around very, very, very successful, powerful people. And oftentimes it's not even them, it's other people imposing on them this air of invincibility, this air of superiority. And even if you're doing dirt and doing wrong, nobody would ever dare call you on it because they put you on a pedestal. I've been put on pedestals. It ain't all it's cracked up to be. So I come to you humbly with a word of integrity. I have reaped the consequences of not living that way. And so part of my intentionality with this message of daily morning motivation is to save you some time, energy, and money to help you to not make some of the same mistakes and to give yourself an opportunity to recalibrate, to really look in the accountability mirror and say, hey, am I keeping my word to myself? If I say I'm going to get up a half an hour early, do I do it no matter what? If I tell somebody I'm going to call them back in 10 minutes, do I do it no matter what? And if I can't call them back in 10, I send them a text message, hey, I'm running a little bit behind, give me another 10 minutes. I just want to be the best person that I can be today, just for today, okay? I'm not saying it to overwhelm you. I'm not saying you got to go back and be like, oh, damn, all the times I didn't do this and I'm not saying this for you to beat yourself up. This is not a self-flagellation moment. It's an opportunity for you to take account, to take stock, and to be better. To be better. The more you do what you say, the more what you say comes true. And that is my message to you. If you got some value out of this, please like and subscribe. Pass this video on, share it with somebody that you could be a blessing to because it is a blessing to be a blessing.